family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are, the media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above par. Never lasting, motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions that you're asking. Serious talks and topics, how to come up and profit, how to better yourself. Your health is here, we got it. Reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like-minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network, start the show. CTR Media Network.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode on CTR Media Network TV. Today we are going to dive into how strategic action can create massive entrepreneur success with our special guest, Dr. Christiane Schroeter, if I said her name correctly. She is a business owner. She is a wellness powerhouse, a #1 best-selling author on Amazon. She has a top 1% podcast herself. She is a professor and the creator of the Petite Practice framework. Christiane, we're honored to have you on our show today, and she is going to help us discover our superpower and how we can align our vision with action and win big. So it proves that big things can come in small packages. So welcome to the show.
Woohoo! I love it.
Yes.
That might have been the most powerful introduction ever. Loved it.
Hey, it's about you. Because, sometimes we don't realize how much we do until we hear someone else say it. And we're like, wait a minute, I did that? Yeah, you're doing that. And so I'm just so happy to have you here with me on today. And when I think about everything that you do with the Petite framework, or your Petite practice, I should say, I really want to dive a little bit more in this. And you do what they call health economics and entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. So what inspired you to move beyond just academia and start empowering entrepreneurs full time?
I think that when you teach in the classroom, whether you are teaching elementary, middle, high school, or as I do, I teach at the university, the best teachers are really the ones that also do hands-on what they really want to convey to the students, right? So I'm an entrepreneur myself because I teach innovation entrepreneurship. And I think you also have to share with the students like the little wins that you get in your own business. And most importantly, you have to share the failures, because sometimes people just think, oh, entrepreneurship, it's just you work your way up. It's all about the wins. It's just like one step at a time. Petite Practice is really breaking it down to small steps, because we want to take small steps that are actionable, that are creating a step forward towards your goals, but it's not always a straight line. It could be a total zigzaggy line, a total like wind around line. You're just moving. And that's really what Petite Practice is all about. So for me, it's important that I share with my students, this is what happens in my business. And guess what? Yesterday I didn't have a great day. And that's what you experience. And so they love listening to this, because to them, it's much more, innovative when I share this, instead of saying, let's read chapter 3 in this book. They want to hear from me and like how it really, like in the field, how it happens.
That is very powerful, because I have another colleague, because I teach at a school, a business school, and she actually got a business, a degree in business. And we're in this other school now. And she was like, listen, they did not teach me this when I was in school. And so, because the instructor, just like you, has been in business 30 years. So she's teaching business, but she's been a business owner for 30 years as well. And so I think, no, I know that it comes with a different perspective when you too are a living, breathing testimony to what you're teaching. And now you can give insight that the book can't give. You can give experiences that the book is not going to be able to give because you're actually living what you're teaching. And so what was that moment when you decided, okay, I'm going to become a business owner. I'm also going to start teaching students how to do this framework, how to have a business. And then you decided that you was going to name it the Petite Practice, which automatically makes me smile every time I say it or think about it. So what made you say, okay, I'm going to name it this?
Yeah, actually, it's something I've been using all my life, the Petite Practice. I always thought about like a framework and, for instance, like reaching a certain goal that can be super intimidating. And then I broke down the steps to get to that goal. And my first book, which is called Master Your Goals, is really introducing the Petite Practice framework. Like, you want to master a goal, you want to reach a goal, but at the same time, you are like sometimes just sitting on the sidelines because you don't know how to get there. And the Petite Practice is really like teaching us that we all have big ideas, we all have big goals. And what really happens is that we are sometimes just so overwhelmed by getting there that we don't take the very first step because we think the very first step needs to be this powerful, big move in the world, where in reality, just sharing that you have that goal is already a step in the right direction. Just telling your friends, your family, your neighbors, people at the checkout line in the grocery store that you want to reach that goal is already that first step, that Petite Practice. And I think that is really when it started, that I was like, yeah, I have goals in my life and I need to get there because time is running out. I mean, it's like I have children, I want to leave a legacy. So if I want to get going on my goals, I better get started. And I think that's when I really started realizing that all my life, I always broke down a goal into small steps and I took action on it. And then I thought I should really give that a cute name. Petite is cute. Practice is good because it means we are practicing something. We're not perfecting it. We're just moving and we're just making it messy. And we're moving, and it's not always forward. Sometimes it's backward, but we still figured out something. So that's really how it came all about. It was essentially just by looking at my life, by looking at my two daughters and thinking like, what is it really that I want to teach them, is that I'm taking action and that I'm just taking messy action, that any messy action is better than no action.
I agree. And when I think about taking those small steps, because many times when we think about, like you said, we can get afraid when we think about a big goal or a big idea that we have. And if we just have that big idea and then we learn to break it down into small little steps, we will eventually get to the big idea and the big goal. Many times the reason why some people feel like they're failing is because they bite off more than what they can chew. They trying to do too much. So I love that you develop a whole framework around celebrating the small steps. Like you said, just mentioning to your family and friends that you want to do this. That's something. All of these things can help us make or obtain that big goal as entrepreneur or as a content creator. So say, for example, if an entrepreneur listening today and they feel a little stuck or feel overwhelmed, which is very common in entrepreneurship, what is one small but powerful petite practice they can start today to create that momentum that they need in order to keep going?
Yeah. So for instance, you might have some brilliant course that you're creating, but you're afraid in taking that last step and getting the course out to the masses. And you're like, well, I just don't know. And that element of visibility is something that I frequently see. It seems very overwhelming. Like the whole launching, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so exhausting and all this. Well, think a little bit of like just looking at your calendar and picking a date that feels good, because it's also a lot of like what feels good for me, what is a good timeline. And then once you set that timeline, you have to also stick to it, right? So you have to maybe like share your friends. All right, so on Memorial Day weekend, I'm going to make it extra memorable. Memorial Day weekend will be when I'm launching my course. And by sharing that, you're already holding yourself accountable. You have to tell people, if you have to check in with me about that, because if I don't do that, my Memorial Day weekend will be extra unmemorable. Because I'm like always going to remember that I didn't launch my course. So now you set yourself a deadline, let's say 4 weeks, right? And I'm intentionally using the word 4 weeks and not 1 month, because you could say in 1 month, I'm going to launch my course. But how about you say 4 weeks? Or how about you say in 30 days? What do I need to do between now and 30 days from now to launch my course? 30 days. We have 30 actions we can take in launching this course. And so see how I'm breaking this down. The 1 month, that seems very, overwhelming and lofty. I don't know what to do in 1 month. And now I'm saying 4 weeks, and now I'm saying 30 days. And I could even break it down further into like the working days that I have to launch the course. And I can even create a whiteboard, and I can stand there with like a marker, and I can mark the days I'm going to do social media strategy on those days and reverse engineering back. All right, launch days here, social media goes out here. This is when I maybe need to, have an email blast go out. And you can mark on your whiteboard, and all of a sudden, like this super overwhelming thing and launching the course becomes like the small actions that you take, where you're planting the seeds, where you're following up with some people that maybe clicked on an email link, etc. And it becomes more actionable, because it's not just a result goal, like I want to launch a course, but it's an action goal. I want to launch a course by starting an email campaign, by starting a social media campaign. So there's an action that's tying in with your result, and all of a sudden the Petite Practice is really going into motion.
I love the fact that you initially said pick a date that make you feel good.
Yeah.
Pick a date that make you feel good, signifying the emotional attachment that we can have to a date, to a feel, to a smell, to be able to associate it, because this feels good. And even though this particular goal seems a little scary, but I'm going to put it on something that I feel good on, which increase your chances of actually following through. And then breaking down, saying, instead of saying 1 month, saying 4 weeks, instead of saying 4 weeks, okay, what we're going to do in this 1 week before the launch. And so I like how you reverse engineered, you went forward, and then you took it backwards, and then you went back forward again. And before you know it, a month don't seem too bad. You're like, okay, maybe I might need about 60 days, So I like the way you did that, because sometimes it's the way we feel and think about a date or a time versus, and so I love how you actually took us forward, brought us back, then micro did it, little petite moves. And I'm like, it's not that bad. 30 days, not that bad, So that is really, really good. And even giving us a strategy on how we can even make that look in regards to email campaign, social media campaign, using the whiteboard to kind of break down, to see the accountability and see that we're marking stuff out so we can feel good about ourselves, that we at least did this, we did that, so we can keep going. So you really, in that small amount of time, gave us so much value on how we can actually go to launch, because launching anything can be a little scary, a little apprehensive. Oh, I don't know if I can. And you just debuffed all of that by giving us a strategy real time. So I appreciate that. And so with that being said, what are the most common challenges? And I'm speaking to us as females, because as females, we wear so many hats. We're a mom. If you're in a relationship, you're a significant other. If you work, you have a job, you have that. If you're a podcaster, you're a podcaster. So how can we as females, help us with the challenges that we face with the launching, with the process of, getting out of our own way to help us to overcome these obstacles that's going to come, but how can we overcome them?
Brilliant question. And actually just saw that last week with my students. So in my new book, Discover Your Superpower, I have these little personality quizzes.
Mhm.
And I can nearly always pinpoint what happens. On the personality quizzes, there are 10 questions. So the full amount would be you get 10 points, right? Or, so it's reading 8 till 10 points, 7, till, 6 till 8. So it's breaking then the results down. So my female students usually get mid of the pack, or maybe like the lower tier of the high pack points. And I'm asking them so what happened? What questions did you maybe rate yourself lower on? And they're like, well, I don't feel like I'm very confident with technology, and I'm not very easy on myself. If I'm failing with something, I'm really telling myself that wasn't great. And so I don't tell myself often enough, I'm not good at this yet. And it's really, females tend to be very hard on themselves in feeling, especially when you wear that many roles and wear that many hats, that you need to do it all and it needs to be all perfect. And I see frequently a lot of my male students are like, oh no, I got this. There's much more of this confidence, even though they're not necessarily even great at this. They're just confident about it. And I think that is something that female entrepreneurs really need to learn. This visibility comes also with confidence, with saying, maybe I don't know this yet, but I'm able to learn it. And so keeping on telling yourself, oh, I don't know how to do this, I'm not very good at this, you're essentially just telling your mind that you really can't do this. So for instance, you're at a party and somebody introduces 4 people, and then you say, well, I'm not very good with names. Well, yeah, if you say this, we're all going to believe this, including yourself. So why don't you just repeat the names back and build yourself a bridge in remembering the names with the people? Because memorizing 4 names might not be super easy at a party, but just imagine everybody has the same issue. It's nobody is listening to these 4 names and immediately got it, right? So keep repeating it back, say it maybe slower, connect the names to something that they're wearing, that they do. I mean, who knows what? And nobody's going to beat you up if you don't remember them all 4 at the same time. But saying immediately, I'm not very good with names. I get that all the time. And I'm like, no, you are good. You just need to stop telling that yourself. So that's what I frequently see, that there is this immediately lowering down your qualities, lowering down your abilities by saying it out loud. And then because you say it out loud, listening it to yourself. I think that's the number one mistake, really. And I would love to change that with a magic wand if I could.
Yeah, I would agree. It's just something about it. I mean, I have been guilty of saying I'm not good with names.
Mm-hmm.
And when you were saying that, I was like, you know what? I'm not good at this name yet, but I will get it. It's, just reframing the way that we say things. And I have, after hearing you say what you said, with females, it is different than males, because I've been in the room with males and I've been in the room with females. We are overly critical of ourselves more so than men. And I love my men audience, because we have a lot of men that watch. So don't take it personal when I say this, men. Sometimes men, they have this innate confidence that even if they're not good at something, they just have this ooze of confidence that is just surpass some females, and we have more knowledge on certain topic than they may have, right? And so I feel like what you were saying, the difference between females and males with the confidence and us having a lack thereof in some cases, is very, very interesting. And as female entrepreneurs, even though we wear multiple hats, we need to learn to change the way that we feeling about stuff, the way that we say different stuff, different things, so that we can have the outcome that we would like to have on whatever it is that we're doing. And so you are a podcaster, and your podcast, by the way, congratulations, is in the top 1% of the most popular podcasts in the world. And we're not talking about a couple thousand people. We're talking about over 3 million podcasts worldwide. And to be ranked in the top 1%, that is not a petite thing. That is not a small thing. That is a huge thing. And to be a female podcaster in a male-dominated industry to rank that high. So congratulations on that. So how do you use your podcast in order to help not only entrepreneurs, but female entrepreneurs in order to achieve their goals and help us get out of this negative mindset that we tend to be in?
Yeah, I mean, the number one thing is all my episodes are short, and you can listen to that on your way to work, maybe pick up times, maybe while you move the laundry from the washing machine to the dryer. So like, it's like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's always under 30 minutes, because I think that's really where the attention span might, I don't want to compete with something else that you got going on in your life. I know we're all busy. So that's like the number one thing, how I can reach female entrepreneurs. I'm making it short and I'm making it very actionable. So I always break it down into, all right, here are 5 steps how to do it. Here are 3 tips how to do this. So I'm really making it in a way that you can kind of like, all right, it's always less than 10 tips. I can listen to this and I feel this is something that's relatable to me. And at the same time, there are also case studies. I interview certain experts on topics and they share their insights with it. Predominantly a female. I have a few male clients that I interview. And I always really think, like, what is their story and how can that story help somebody else that's maybe struggling? Because you sometimes feel like, oh, no, it's just me. And I'm just like over here and I'm, struggling with this certain issue. But then you listen and you're like, oh, my gosh, this sounds just like me. So by thinking a little bit about like, this is not just like, I'm having this issue, but there's this other person right there. It also becomes relatable because you sometimes feel by listening to somebody else's struggle and how they overcame it, it already gives you a little bit of a clue or key. I like to say the word key in like unlocking your own misery, because it's sometimes just like the perspective. And I frequently use the word where I say flip the switch. You sometimes just have to flip the switch and thinking like, oh, I will never get over this. And this is like really something I'm struggling with. But by flipping the switch and hearing how somebody else did that, all of a sudden you're like, well, I guess I hadn't thought about it this way. It might already trigger some motivation in overcoming it. And I think as females, it helps to listen and to feel you're not alone in this. Because I always feel like I get over my struggles by talking with somebody else. And the way that I set up my podcast, it nearly feels like a friend is talking to you and helping you get out of whatever struggle you're in right now. So that's really, I think, the secret to success, that I keep it as relatable as possible, as short as possible, but also as actionable as possible.
I love that. The time frame of your podcast, making sure that it is a way of people or women to be able to connect in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. They can listen to your podcast. In other words, you're not taking them away from what they're already doing. You're adding to what they're doing, and they can do it as they're going to do their day to day. I mean, I listen to podcasts while I'm cleaning, sometime while I'm working, because I'm thinking and I'm doing work at the exact same time. So 30 minutes or less, it's like the same amount of time it takes for a person to watch a TV show. Exactly. So instead of watching a TV show, they can listen to you. And so that is great. And so that's a good strategy for those of you who are a podcaster and you're trying to figure out that happy medium. Should I do a 15-minute, 30-minute, or an hour? Some people do even longer. What if you already tried that and it's not really working? Then maybe a 30-minute episode is the best option for you. Just test it out and see. You have a #1 best-selling book that says how to master your goals and make a big impact. So what is one of the core lessons from your book that you can give maybe one tip to our entrepreneurs that that you feel like you see us doing this wrong and we absolutely need to hear this right now? Just one thing.
So in my How to Master Your Goals book, what I really did was I took one-page worksheets and I connected them into a book. And if you think about, we've been talking about the Petite Practice, we're talking about the Petite Podcast, right? The short podcast, and which is called Happy, Healthy Hustle, by the way. So if you're hustling, how can I keep you happy and healthy? And now I'm talking about this book, which isn't like a Harry Potter novel where you're sitting and you have to like read it page by page and chapter by chapter, but you can just open it on any page. And what you might actually see, and that's my lesson to you, is you might actually see a word search. And you're like, what is that? I thought it's just like, like a serious marketing or an innovation entrepreneurship book. Well, I think that we sometimes forget the play in our life. That being an entrepreneur also means we need to experiment, we need to have fun, and that there's not a lot of that sometimes. Like we think this is all serious, but just opening a book and doing a word search, where the word search, of course, connects keywords from marketing, from entrepreneurship, from strategy, and just having fun with it. And then you're like, all right, so now I did this word search. I'm kind of curious about some of those words that were in that word search. Maybe you flip back through the chapter and you see when I'm actually explaining a concept. And then you're maybe picking up, there are resources that I'm recommending, other books that I'm recommending. All of a sudden, you're going through the book, as I say, maybe not in a linear fashion, but just how it works for you. And that's how I set it up. So there are multiple ways that you can kind of like intersect the book in your life, but I would really love that you are just having fun with it, because mastering your goals, while that sounds super intimidating, is really something that ultimately is taking something from your bucket list and making it part of your day. So you're actually like, I always wanted to do that. And then all of a sudden it becomes something you're taking step by step and you're getting closer and closer to that.
I love that. And how your book is not the traditional type of book. So the thing is, you're right. I don't know what happens once we reach a certain threshold, cross over the threshold of once we start having teenager on our age and we start getting to 20, 30, 40, 50, we remove fun for some reason. Like we think, okay, I'm an adult now, so I'm not allowed. The expiration date is on. I don't have expiration date on fun. And so I like the fact that you are bringing that fun apt to play back into entrepreneurship, back into business, back into goal setting, because it gives us that happy, emotion, serotonin when we have fun. That is very great for us to be able to be more productive. If you're happy, you're going to work better. If you're happy. And so I'm definitely going to go purchase this book because I want to do the crossword puzzle too. That's going to help me learn. Wow. So I really, really like how you're using you're really taking it to the next level on how we take these small petite steps, and you're actually that continuous framework of what you built with the Petite Practice. You're carrying it over to books. You already carried it over to podcasting. And now I'm just seeing that you carrying it over as a professor at a school. And how it really, really works. Your framework is really solid because it's working in so many different layers of media. And speaking of all those different layers that you have already touched on, I see how you are really mastering this visibility. So tell the entrepreneurs on why is visibility so important when you are an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I always say if you don't share your mess with people, right? What you struggle with, you're really missing the point on visibility. So you don't want to show up on some stage and tell people and how great you are and all this. I mean, nobody wants to hear that, right? I know everybody likes talking about themselves, but this is not how it works. So I always say make your mess your message. And then it will become easier for you to become visible as well. Because if you want it or not, when you stand at the checkout line at the grocery store, you're immediately drawn in by those headlines on like the People magazine, the Us magazine, and da, da, da. You're like, oh, what's that? And you might not even know those people, but the big headlines, the mess that other people struggle with or not, maybe media just like makes it a bigger mess than what it in reality really is. And so you need to think a little bit like we are all interested in people that are struggling and the transformation that happens when they overcome that struggle. So by sharing, oh, this is something I really struggled with, and let me share with you how I overcame the struggle, all of a sudden your visibility strategy became more of like a platform where you are helping others. And that's really what entrepreneurship is all about. You're helping others, and by helping others, you're helping yourself. So you're becoming visible and making your message somebody else's solution to their problem, because I'm sure you're not the only one that struggled with that. Good news, right? And at the same time, it's easier for you to talk about it. So instead of just like telling other people how great you are, you're more like telling other people, let me share my story with you. And my story might just be what you need in your life to overcome what you're really struggling with yourself. And visibility in all reality is, I think, just that you're essentially just like making your platform all about your own transformation. And that's how you leave legacy. You leave legacy by really creating something meaningful. Like, what is it that's in it for me? That's what you need to think about. The audience is sitting there. What is it that this person is sharing? Like, so what? And then your message will become much more of like a rolling and a starting point for a conversation.
You know, I love the way you said, make your mess your message. And many times we are afraid to let people see the mess. We want them to see the beautiful polish, the lights, the cameras, all the good stuff, right? The end result. We don't want them to see the nights where we cried, the nights where we were like, listen, I don't even know if I want to keep doing this podcast or doing this show or whatever it is that you're doing. And I love the way you just flipped our mindset in just that one phrase. Make your mess your message. That is powerful in itself, what you just said. And if we learn to, especially as women, to allow the mess to be our message, we will not have a lack of confidence. We will go out and speak boldly to people about our mess, because now we know that we are the solution. So now even if it's a male-dominated industry, we're still going to stand out because we have the confidence and the solution in order to back what we say and what we are doing. So our outcome as females, no matter how busy our life is going to be a different outcome. Wow. I mean, I'm just thinking about this whole interview and how you just took us forward, then you brought us back, then you gave us a big grandiose goal, and then you backed us up and said, okay, now 30 days, now 4 weeks, now and so that in itself, giving us the illustrations and helping us to see that we can become what we want to become. We can do what we want to do. We have to start with us first. They have to start with them first. And so if it's Is there anything that you are doing, anything that you're personally launching that you want to let everybody know about? How can they listen to your podcast? I want you to make sure that you say the name again so they can hear it just in case they missed it. Because I feel like it's going to be I'm going to add you on my playlist. So go ahead and say it again.
Yeah, so my podcast, Happy Healthy Hustle. And the last 3 episodes were actually visibility strategies, part 1, part 2, part 3, where in part 1, I really helped you with presenting. How can you stay on the stage without the stage fright? And then I help you with publishing. And then I also help you in general with just like promoting yourself. So maybe figuring out really, all right, so if I don't present or I don't publish, what else can I do to become more visible? And that is like broken into 3 different episodes right there. So I would love for you to check it out. And my latest book, Discover Your Superpower, I have that like right next to me here, is the one that I mentioned earlier, where the students took that personality quiz. And it helps you step by step, so petite practice by petite practice, and discover what you're really unique at, what's the value that you need to share with the world. And I always say to my students, if you don't discover that, you're stealing from everybody because you don't share what you're good at. We will never, ever get the true you. So you're really holding something back. And that's not fair to all of us, not fair to you, not fair to me. So don't steal from us. You have to discover your superpower and then share it. Because we are just waiting to hear what amazingness you have to share with the world. And I always tell my students, better get started. Start today and don't wait until that day, because someday is not a day on the calendar. Just get started today.
You're right. I have never seen someday on the calendar. And so many of us hold on to, I'm going to do this someday.
Nope.
Someday. How long you been saying that? What, 5-10 years? Someday. Listen, today. I want you guys to do it. Would they be able to purchase your superpower, your new book, which is talking about the superpower? Where can they find it at?
Great question. So go to Amazon, put in my first and last name, so Dr. Christiane Schroeter, and it's actually a part of a series. It's called the Petite Practice Collection. So there's my first best-selling book, The Master Your Goals. There's the Discover Your Superpower book, and there's a planner that goes along with that. And all of them have digital bonus packages that go along with them as well. It has playlists, right? So you can listen to music. That is my total hype music. Will get you all ready to discover your superpower on those days when you maybe need a little pick-me-up. It has those fantastic word searches in there. In fact, the planner actually has little doodle pages. You can totally let your creativity flow. And what I love about it is that everybody uses it in a little bit of a different way. So it is truly like unique and makes it like wherever your learning style is, you can listen to it. There's podcast episodes in there. You can draw on them if you're more like an experiential learner. You can read it. And whatever you are, I hope that you also get in touch with me at DrChristiane.com. DrChristiane.com, so written out doctor and then Christiane.com, and share with me what you took away from it. And on my website is actually also a Discover Your Superpower quiz. So you basically there's no excuse right now. You can tap into your superpower, and I would love for you to do that.
I absolutely, oh my goodness, like literally what I am loving as I'm hearing you explain what you have created. I can tell that you're an educator. It's a certain flow that an educator has when they approach teaching, training, coaching, mentorship. But it's very few educators that have the skill to tie in kinetics learning, because you say you get the moving with your playlist. It's very few that tie in the audio. Everyone want to do the reading. pick up the book and read, but you realize like, hold up, I'm gonna meet you where you are. If you are a kinetics learner where you have to move to learn, my book does that and my workbooks does that. If you need to listen because your audio, you need to listen to it in order to get it, I got you there. If you need to read it, then I have you there. Oh, if you just need to have some fun, like you had touched all the core elements of learning.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a playground that I love. It's very few books that because I do stuff like this, but it's very few books that I have seen that people connect all the facets of how a brain or how a person learns. And that is what makes this book so powerful. I am just so excited because I want to get the puzzles and everything. So anyway, thank you so much for sharing everything. Like, genius on how everybody, you need to get this book because it don't matter how you learn. She got a little bit in here for everybody. And you will be able to get the information because she's not leaving anything off the table. She is approaching every type of learning style that we have. And something will resonate with you, if not all, because she's not leaving anything off the table on this. And so this is a book that you're definitely going to be able to use. This is a book that you will not get lost on, and it will not go over the top of your head because she's addressing the various learning styles, which you don't see too often in business.
And then, of course, the size is like the size of a laptop, right? So you can basically just, with your laptop, put it right there, not getting lost. You
can write in it. It's big enough for us to write notes, because some things are just too tiny. I like to write, and I write a little big. So,
yeah.
So really, you really thoroughly thought through the process of how you can help us be successful with the entrepreneurship and giving us the small bite-sized pieces that we need so we will execute, so that we will be able to make a plan, that we'll be able to see the action at the end of the road because it's not too much coming at us at one time. So very, very great. Very, very great. Listen, thank you so much for being a featured guest on our show. We thoroughly enjoyed it. And we're definitely going to be looking you up on everything that you're doing on your show, your podcast. Like I said, congratulations on being the top 1% because that is not small. That is a big thing. And you guys make sure to tune in to her show and everything like that. And whatever it is that she's doing in entrepreneurship, because it's very rare to find someone in this arena that is doing it this type of way. I feel like you're going to be able to get everything you need to get from her because she's addressing all the learning styles. And we're adults now. Like,
yes, thank you.
Yes. I mean, when you said that, I was like, okay. Now that you talking psychology, she just tapped into the brain right quick. That's good. It's really, really good. So what I want you guys to do is download the app today. That is our way of giving back with CTR Media Network, bringing such amazing thought leaders and entrepreneurs and educators and podcasters, fellow podcasters that are doing some amazing things in order to help you win and succeed. Scan the code. You can watch the episodes for absolutely free. Not just my show, but it's a lot of other podcasters on the network as well. Make sure to check them out on today. And I know that you thoroughly enjoyed our today's featured guest, everything that she's doing, because she definitely helped you to discover your superpower. If you haven't figured it out yet, get her book. It will help you to discover what your superpower is. And she helped us to align our vision with action and how we can win big by taking small steps every single day. Make sure to tune in to all of our episodes, and we'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
Hey, Think Fam, it's your favorite host, Michael Finkley, and you can listen to us on CTR Media Network. Go listen in.
Here's why you need to tune in right now. With CTR Media Network, you can transform your knowledge into a fully produced TV show. Imagine your content streaming on platforms like Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV. reaching over 350 million households in 140 countries. We take care of everything, from managing your ready-to-go content to global distribution. And it's not just any content, it's edutainment, a perfect blend of education and entertainment that keeps viewers coming back for more. You'll join a vibrant community of thought leaders, podcasters, and educators, all sharing a passion for impactful content and global reach. Plus, with our app available on Google Play and the App Store, your show will be accessible to millions more, ready to shine on the global stage. Let's get you started. Schedule a 15-minute call with us today and turn your idea into a TV sensation. Reply to this video by saying, "I want to learn more." Don't wait, your audience is out there waiting.